Hello, welcome to Longman Tarot. I hope you're doing well. I'm sorry, literally, it was an hour ago. I was driving back from a nice day out at Heather Peter, and I went, "Oh, I want to do a live today." So, literally, this has been very put together at the last minute, but often these things best are, aren't they? So, welcome, and I wanted to do a sort of second part to last week when I talked about 4 card spreads. I've had some fantastic feedback and lovely comments from lots of people about the 4 spreads that I did. So I thought I want to do a follow-up, and I did talk about a follow-up using Oracle cards. And I thought, I've got a free Friday. I'm going to do it because the next few Fridays I'm a bit busy and it will never happen. So I thought, let's just jump on and do it. So goodness knows what it's going to be like. But I'm here. How is everyone? Good to see so many of you. Thank you. Because literally it was half an hour ago I whacked it up on StreamYard. StreamYard. That's it. It should be called StreamYard sometimes. StreamYard. Maru, hello, my lovely. Good to see you here. Hi, Donna. Good to see you here too. I hope everyone's well. Chris, hi to you. I hope you're very well. Haven't spoken to you for ages. I hope you're doing well, my friend. And Free Spirit, hello to you. Hello to all those people just watching in the chat, watching and not commenting, or watching us at another time. Very welcome. Hi, Debbie. Good to see you here. I love how everyone's talking to one another. I've missed doing all of this. It's really nice to be back. Hi, Philippa. Good to see you here. I hope you're well. And Pamela is here. Hi, Pamela. And all the best chatters here today. Absolutely. Thank you for being, thank you for keep following me and kind of, indulging me in my ramblings. Yeah, StreamYard. A couple of times on StreamYard, I'm going to call it StreamYard, that I put loads of stuff in. If you programmed it all and wrote it all up, I thought, that's wonderful. And then went to change something, and then it just wiped it all completely. So sometimes it can be StreamYard. That's what comes to getting the free version of it, I think. Perhaps if I pay for it. Yeah. Donna is asking, did you sleep okay last night, Chris, after the bedtime coffee? Oh, yes, because you did your thingy, didn't you? It's nice to see you back doing your, what's it called, sip and sling, is it? Sling. I haven't been able to catch one yet, but hopefully I will do at some point. But I hope you are well and everyone else is doing well. So just a quick catch up, because I don't want to be on here for a really long time today. I have got other things I need to get on and do. But I just wanted to kind of touch base with what I did with the 4 card readings last week. If you weren't here, I have put a link into the description if you want to watch that one back. But I can quickly just kind of go through what we were talking about. There were 2 4-card spreads, and I'm just saying how much my practice has worked around 4-card spreads. And this was the second one. This was the kind of foreseeing into the future reading, which I have to say, out of the 2 readings I talked about, this is the one I think that people really seem to love. So just to quickly remind you, if you were here and if you haven't seen it yet, don't worry. I'm going to give you this recap. We have 4 cards. The first card is the one at the top. In this case, the Knight of Wands. This tells you the energy of the week, or however many days you want to do the reading for, or the event if you want to make it an event. So this is just an overall taster of what's going to be going on. So the energy of the week, the energy of the situation, giving you that idea of how it's all going to play out. The card, if you like, at 9 o'clock is the obstacle. So in this case, it was the Queen of Pentacles. I'm not going to go into the description too much of what each of the cards mean, as you can go back and watch that one if you wanted to do that one. But it was the obstacle. And then the card at 3 o'clock, in this case, the Fool card, was how to get over the obstacle that's going to come up in the unforeseeable future. Then the bottom card at 6 o'clock was, if I called it, the mantra card. So this is the card that you kind of remember, take a photo of on your phone, have it as your desktop or background, whatever you want to do. That's the card to focus on to get you through the week. So it's your mantra card. It's the one that's going to provide you the support to get through all the things as they come up, particularly getting over that obstacle. And that was basically how it all played out then. I'm thinking the bedtime beer cancelled out the coffee. I am missing stuff, aren't I? I had to go back and catch that one now. It was quite late, Don, and I only ended up getting 5 hours, but okay, just a bit tired too. You take it easy, Chris. Alcohol before bed is definitely disruptive. There you go. Donna is giving you advice there, Chris. So that was the 4-card spread that I talked about last week. And I had loads of lovely comments about that. And there is another part to this reading that I now want to go into and share. And please don't sue me, because the thumbnail says 4-card spread part 2. Well, this now adds onto it and turns it into a 9-card spread. So we're going from 4 to 9, but there is bits that you could cut out and change and do stuff with there. So I'm going to quickly just talk about that one and then see how things are panning out. So I have taken photos of this one, and this is what it's going to look like. I'm using nautical decks. So I'm using the Siren Tarot, which is my main tarot deck that I'm using at the moment there. And you can see that I have pulled my 4 cards there for the 4 positions that they were in. We're going to talk about those a bit more in a moment. But you'll see I've also now introduced oracle cards. I've got 4 on the corners, and then there's an extra one there. Now, oracle cards are... I've always had a bit of a love-hate, sort of a strange relationship. Let's call it a strange relationship with oracle cards. I've often just pulled them as a 1-card kind of view of the day or something like that. Never really incorporated them into tarot. But I'm pleased I have, and I'm really pleased that this spread has worked out very well with this one there. Now, if you're kind of used to Lenormand reading, it's got a feeling of Lenormand-ish about this, because each of the 4 corners here of the oracle decks kind of infill the 2 cards that they're next to. I'm going to give you a little bit more information about that one in a moment. But it really adds, I'm not going to say it adds depth to the tarot readings, the 4 tarot cards. I would say it kind of just adds colour to it and a bit more oomph, perhaps even a bit more focus, particularly when you get 2 cards or perhaps even 3 cards showing up that are telling the same kind of message that you'll be reading for. So you'll notice I've also got another card up in the top right. That's my moon card. Now, the reason I'm doing this one is these tarot decks and oracle decks are all about the sea. I am using the oracle deck that is called the Dreaming Waves Oracle. So my Siren Tarot, which I should say does contain a little bit of nudity, but I think the pictures here are pretty okay. There's nothing in here that's too offensive. I've got my Dreaming Waves, and then I've got my Moonology deck there, which is the one in the top right, and I'm going to talk about that bit in a moment. So that's the layout of this. So we've gone from 4 tarot with 4 oracle and then an extra oracle card. You notice it's all sea themed. You do not need to theme your cards up as much as please do not go and buy extra oracle cards because your deck needs it. We all have oracle cards that read really well with other decks. You don't have to theme it around the sea here. You can literally have what you choose from there to do. Why to anyone? False advertising. I'm sorry, Donnie. Yeah, I know. Well, I'm thinking of this as a 4-card tarot spread with a 4-card oracle deck plus an extra on the side. Think of it in terms of that. So yeah, 4 and 4 plus 1 is 9. So yeah, do it that way. Hi, Mary Hernandez. Good to see you here, and hello to anyone else that is watching. Maruta says I do a single oracle card for 2 tarot cards. Yeah, that's quite a nice way of doing it. Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? The synergy between oracle and tarot sometimes. I don't think they're the same. I'm going to be honest with that. I wouldn't necessarily read an oracle card as much as I would read a tarot card, like I wouldn't read a tarot card like a Lenormand card or perhaps a Kipper card. But they add that extra bit to it, and I think that's the important bits around there. The 7 Energies Oracle is very versatile, absolutely. 7 energies. I do have other oracle decks. I'm going to quickly reach over. I hope you can hear me when I do this. Which I have included into these before, but I literally didn't want to overcomplicate this. And I'm just going to come out of that one so you can just see these a bit better. Let's come out of that. So these are the C oracle cards, Soul Journeys. These are very nice, but a bit more sit and meditate on these ones. Not quite so instant, but lovely, lovely, lovely pictures. I would know. And then lovely Sandra gave me the Healing Waters Oracle as well, which again works for it. So we've got a very watery theme going on here, and that's going to be important when we pull the Moon card in a moment as well and have a look at that one. So that's the setup for it. So let's just go back and have a little look. So this was a general reading that I did. So just to remind people, the top card is the Chariot. So that's the energies of the week. So you might want to interpret that as being quite fast energy, quite quick, driving forward, keeping in control, perhaps having to keep the hands on the reins there, perhaps even travel as in moving, holidays, that kind of thing could be going on. That could be the theme of the, let's say, the week. It could be an event. It doesn't have to be a specific time event. That's for you to decide how you set this when you put an intention into reading it. At the obstacle is the 8 of Wands. So that could be turning your back onto a situation that is well and truly needed to be turned and moved away from. The way of getting over that obstacle is the 3 of Cups. So perhaps looking at friendship groups or social media groups, or someone who is going to perhaps get you out of that situation and remind you that your friends' social life is important as much as the hard work element of it all. The mantra card is the Magician, a beautiful card to have as a mantra there, because of course that's all about realizing the full potential and looking at all the skills and powers and energies and everything that you have, of course, manifesting as above, so below, and all that lovely stuff there. So it's a really powerful card to have as a mantra to think, right, what skills can I bring to this? Hi, Kathy. Hello to anyone else that's watching. Thank you for being here. Just going to have a quick swig of tea. So let's pop myself back in there. That's better. So that's the general layout of this. So now I've added in some oracle cards, and I'm just going to zoom in and take you through each one. So as I said before, they're in the corners, so they tend to come into play with this reading with the 2 cards that link them. So for example, let's talk about this one. So the Chariot was the energy of the week, and the 8 of Cups was the obstacle. And the card that comes with this is the Abyss. The Abyss, I keep on saying Abyss. Abyss is a bit high up nun, isn't it? The Abyss, that's it. Anyway, depth and shadow work. So there you go. We're talking about the Chariot there coming in there. So perhaps the strength comes from having to go deeper than just on the superficial glamorous. The Chariot card is always incredibly glamorous. If you think of the RWS deck, we've got people with capes on and chariots and sphinxes and star-spangled backgrounds and stuff like that going on. It's a very showy card. This one is perhaps saying, look at where you're going before you need to worry about the glamorous side of it all there. Tying in with the 8 of Cups as well, it's saying that the problems are probably much more deep-rooted, the ones you're trying to escape from. It's much more inwards than perhaps you might think, and perhaps before you turn your back and walk away on it, you need to do that little bit more work to make sure that you've finally put it to bed before you walk away. That you've really done your soul searching and you know that what you're doing is the right move forward. That could be an interpretation, but I'm hoping you can see how that one oracle card connects to those other 2 tarot cards. Oh, cat incoming. Hi, Sib there. How you doing? No candles tonight for you to burn yourself on. Right, let's go to the next card, which was the anchor, stability and grounding. So this time it sits over the chariot card and the three of cups. Now, I love, particularly when you're theming up a deck, how this sometimes works. It really feels like that the anchor is pulling on that chariot card, almost going, hang on a moment. You can't go racing ahead without doing the grounding, without that stability. You need to make sure you've got all those life preservers, I suppose, methods of calming down, methods of grounding, methods of making sure that you're okay in the situation then. And that anchor really feels like it's dragging that chariot back, just holding it back a bit like a parachute. It's just going, don't rush forward quite so much without knowing where you're going. Making sure you've got that grounding, that stability is so important. And that is also feeding into the three of cups. So again, that wanting to move on, that way of getting over that obstacle is to become more stable, to be more grounded. And perhaps that grounding comes from being with friends, being with your friends and social networks and being like, so again, that grounding is tying in really nicely. Driving with your emergency brakes on, precisely. Hi, Hershey, good to see you here. I hope you're well. Hi, Rich, everyone in chat. Sending blessings and positive vibes to you all. How kind. Thank you, Hershey. Back to you, my lovely. Yeah, Abbas runs an Abbey. Yeah. It's Friday afternoon. That's all I can say, Maruta. Yeah. Right, so we've done two. Let's do the other two now. So let's go down here. So we were looking at the Eight of Cups and the Magician. The Magician is the mantra card. And I've got the Narwhal here. Uniqueness and personal magic. Come on, personal magic, the Magician. That's what we were talking about. This one's just clarifying that Magician card, isn't it? And saying you are unique. And I love that. That's often something that you might miss out as the Magician card. Your uniqueness, your speciality. And perhaps that is what's been forgotten with the Eight of Cups. That is the thing you need to remember as you stack your cups up and walk away from that situation. You are a unique person. You have personal skills. You have this personal magic. It's now time to use it. And that is, again, adding to that mantra. I would perhaps carry the Narwhal card or perhaps a photo of it around with me as well, reminding me that the Magician and this Narwhal are linked. It's giving you that extra layer. In fact, it's almost like pushing it into your face when you get two cards that come up that's so similar like this. So there we go. And then finally, not finally because we've got another one to go, we've got the Whale Song, Legacy and Connection. Again, tying in with the idea of the Three of Cups, the social side of getting through a situation, finding the fun in the situation, plus, of course, that Magician mantra card that's going on there, telling you that you have that connection. There is that legacy. The way to connect to people is to go back into the past and find those people, those connections that you had, and hang on to those, build on those ones. Use the skills of the Magician, if you like, to reignite them, to go out, perhaps meet new people if you need to, start a new legacy. Legacies have to start somewhere. We always think of legacies as being in the past, but you can start a legacy right now if you wanted to, and that comes again through that connection. Can you see how this all ties together? You do not need to have two themed tarot decks and an oracle deck for this to work, but my goodness, I think sometimes it helps. The Narwhal is emphasizing the wand and the sword energy to me. Yeah, I was getting that as well, actually, looking at that there. Perfect. Really nice. Thank you for your lovely comments. It's really cool to have people sort of interpreting it as we go. And Maruta also says Magician playing the cups game. Yes. I hope people are getting something out of this and can see how it links. This is how I would read Lenormand. I always think that Lenormand is very much making a sentence up. So you often have, so you had the book and you had flowers or something like that. You've got a nice secret coming to you. You've got those meanings there. And I often use it in connection with what's going on. Remember, I always read the tarot part first and then add the nuances, add the extra bits in that come in with it through the oracle cards. Hello, Simon. Good to see you again. Hope you're doing very well. Thank you, Philippa. Yeah, they really do complement the tarot cards. It's a great way to confirm each other. It's interesting. I've done this kind of setup about half a dozen times, perhaps. It does take longer to do it, which is one of the reasons I always pick the 4 cards. I've always talked about that last time. Is it's nice and quick. You can get in there. You can focus on what you want. You can get in and get out again with the 4 card spread. But having that extra bit of time, wanting to put more layers onto it, really useful, and I would recommend it. Everyone's saying hello to Simon. But yeah, these decks really do work so well together. And the softness of a lot of the Seek Oracle, most Oracle decks tend to have a soft side, not all of them, but tend to. The softness of the Oracle deck can, I'm going to say, counteract the tarot, because I think the tarot is very, very direct when it moves in and gives a reading. At least some decks do. This one, particularly the Sirens Tarot, it's very, very direct and matter of fact. And the softness of the Oracle card coming in either cushions it or slightly counteracts it. It's a bit like an acid and alkali sometimes. They're just kind of mixing a little bit, not neutralizing one another, but just changing it slightly. So there's 4 tarot cards. There's 4 Oracle cards. Then we're coming to the bit that puts the twist on it all. So you may remember, if I just go back and show you the original spread, we had 4 tarot, 4 Oracle. We've been through all of those 8 cards now, and we've picked out what we like from it. This is quite rough. As I said, it just happens to be the cards I've picked. It's not for any particular reading. I've just done this as an example, but I really didn't choose the cards. I literally pulled them out, so it wasn't like, oh, I'm going to have that one match up with that one. So I would do that as a 4 and 4 reading. And then I pull, and this is, I suppose, the one for me that slightly twists or slightly puts an edge onto the reading, and that is the 9th card, which is to the side, and it's just 1 card. And because of I'm dealing with water here, I'm dealing with oceans, I thought it'd be really nice to use the Moonology card, because obviously the moon affects the tides. So the moon card in here is really hopefully going to affect the reading, perhaps skew it, perhaps twist it, perhaps add something else onto it. That's what I'm hoping for here. Much like the tides and the oceans are affected by the moon. So that was the thought, and it works, I think. So let's have a look. The Moonology card was the North Node. Step out of your comfort zone. Now that's an interesting card to have with all these Oracle ones, because I said earlier that the Oracle cards tend to be kind of quite calming, quite meditative, quite softening, and then this one's going, come on, step out of your comfort zone. So when we go back and read the reading, or look at the reading again to interpret it, if I put it up with all 9 cards there, you can see, let's just get rid of the comment there, you can see perhaps now that because the moon is up high, it's pulling the energy. Perhaps you could start to do almost a diagonal reading on this one. I don't know, I'm doing that with my hand, but you're getting the idea, the gist of it there. So step out of your comfort zone. Where these cards have been comforting, and I don't know if they have been necessarily comforting, it's reminding you that it's now time to perhaps not worry quite about the softness. Perhaps it is time for that 8 of Cups to really come into play. And remember, the 8 of Cups is an obstacle. So actually, step out of your comfort zone. We don't like doing that. And particularly as a Taurian, I can tell you, I do not like change at all. So therefore, stepping out of your comfort zone is something that I would find particularly troublesome. The 8 of Cups is a card of stepping out of your comfort zone and moving into something new. The Chariot is a card that can be very difficult to handle. The speed of it, the action of it, sometimes keeping a balance of the reins in both hands when those horses or sphinxes want to pull in different directions. You have to hang on tight to the Chariot. It's going to be fast. I don't like going fast. I don't like fairground rides. So the idea, again, of stepping out of my comfort zone shows again that I'm not that kind of person, but perhaps that's what it is. The Three of Cups, stepping out of your comfort zone. Well, for me, that could be meeting up with a new group of people, or perhaps throwing yourself into a group of not necessarily strangers, but reaching out to people that you haven't spoken to for a long time. I've had to do that a couple of times, go into a group of people that I don't know. And I'm realizing that that is a really exciting possibility. I know that a lot of people don't feel comfortable with walking into a new space. I did this with our lovely Morris dancing group. I had to arrive at a hall with lots of people I didn't know and start dancing around them and going, I'm real out of my comfort zone, that was. But my goodness, I'm really pleased I did it, and I absolutely love it. As I'm always talking about how much I love it, but if I hadn't made that initial step of getting over that anxiety, of getting over that pressure, I wouldn't be doing it now. Then, of course, you've got the Magician, stepping out of your comfort zone. So perhaps that will put a skew slightly on our Magician card. Perhaps it is the Magician could be perhaps interpreted as finding new skills or polishing up those skills that you probably put aside and didn't want to pick up again. Or perhaps it is, as I said, find a new skill. You can do that by finding a new group of people. Hopefully this is making a bit of sense and you can see how these cards are all beginning to work together. So before I finish talking about this, because I've done 25 minutes of talking about it, hoping that makes sense. But the final card is the one that I would go back in and just refine the reading. It's just pulling out those energies that perhaps were there, but you never quite realize. It gives you that opportunity to go, okay, yeah, that's what it's meaning. That's what it's going on about. And that's the skew. That's the magnetism that's pulling it that way, or the gravity, I suppose, with the moon would be a better way. The gravity is pulling me towards getting out of your comfort zone. So therefore, I think the meaning of these cards, this card and this card, is that rather than that. So it's almost like it's clarifying it for me. Well, there you go. I've done a lot of talking. So I'm just going to go back and have a little look at some of the comments there. Donna says it is versatile, 4 cards for a quick read and add in the other layer if you have more time. That is precisely the way, Donna. I would not do this on a regular basis. I would possibly do this for a client if anybody was having a reading, or I would if I felt like I needed that extra. What's the word I'm looking for? I don't keep using the word nuance. More depth, more clarity to it. Now, you could argue that just pulling more tarot cards could do that, but I think this has a slightly different appeal to it. And Philippa says, I find the tarot sometimes blunt, the oracle kinder. Generally, yes, Philippa, I would totally agree with you. There are, however, some oracle decks I can think of. I know that Ali and Gerald and I have often used decks when we're doing our caffeinated and decaffeinated shots. Yes, we've got some ones that literally do just go, you know, but generally I would agree. Most oracle decks, I find, I used to have a very hate relationship to oracle cards. I've obviously changed that one. I never quite understood oracle cards, and it took me a lot of time and a lot of different oracle decks to get through and go, oh, now I'm going to use them. Now I understand. Now I'm going to do it that way. Yeah. Hershey, I was talking about the Joker Tarot. Love at first sight. That's great. This is a beautiful deck, Richie. I don't know the name, but it's stunning. Right, I'll quickly go through them. So the tarot deck is the Sirena, which was Kickstarter. and the Oracle is the Dreaming Wave Oracle, which again is Kickstarter. Loving it, absolutely loving it. I've been crying out for a Seaside Oracle deck. I've got quite a few. Actually, I haven't got quite a few. I've got a few tarot decks that are just based around the sea, including Wisdom of the Depths, Kickstarter again, the Mermaid Tarot, which I don't tend to use a lot, but these are the ones that I put together. Now, I didn't realise, because I must have missed out, that they did a Dreaming Wave Tarot. I don't know when, but it was done. And I nearly bought a copy on eBay the other day that was there. And then I noticed, having watched a walkthrough video of it, I thought, that box isn't quite the same box that I saw on the video. The box in the tarot deck was like this. It's one of those two-part ones. No. The one on eBay for £12 was just a tuck box. And I thought, methinks it might not be legit. So I decided I wasn't going to back that one there. But if you ever do come across the Dreaming Waves Tarot, do let me know, because I would like to purchase a copy, because I think it would go brilliantly with these ones as well. But yeah, so that was it there. Yeah, though the tarot deck is the Sirena. The backs of these are gorgeous, by the way. Let's just come out of that one. I don't know why I'm showing it to you on a very small background, but there we go. And they're really pastel-y, but beautiful. Kind of got a Greek mythology, kind of with a hint of Victorian thing. Anyway, yeah. I've never seen a narwhal in any decks. Oh my goodness, what a beauty to see. Yeah. And the backs of these are gorgeous as well. So I like the borders as well. They have these beautiful borders that go around it. Yeah, it's beautiful. And they go so well together, like I said. So it is a wonderfully cohesive reading. Literally pulled them out. I wasn't like, as I said, mashing them up for a particular reason, but it is that extra information. And I thought I'd tag that one on because, sorry, I've got a very itchy nose. I would tag that one on because I did mention last Friday about these extra Oracle ones, and I didn't know if I'd get the opportunity to be doing those in the next couple of weeks. So I thought, let's jump on and do it while I before I forget. They do. Thank you. Yeah. That's a really good question, Hershey. Actually, I'm thinking is that if I didn't have an Oracle deck and a tarot deck that went together, how well would the reading go? I did search long and hard for this deck, this Oracle deck, because I knew I would, but that's because there wasn't a particularly great Oracle deck about the seas or oceans that I really wanted. Now I seem to have come across quite a few of them, including that one I just put down. This one here, upside down, which again is great. This one's available on. It's got this thing, so it's got this sellotape shut and it screws. There we go. Put it open. Lovely deck. This is made by Pippa Best, who I believe is down in Cornwall. And this Oracle is really gorgeous. It comes with different backs because it's got different sections to it. And just looking at the backs are just fabulous. You could just have those out just to look at them there. But they've got really nice things. And all of them a bit more, they're like clear. May you see things as they are. So that's the kind of reading on there. These again work really well. But these are quite big. But I have also put these into the reading as well. Lightness. May the light lift you to the surface. So again, it doesn't have to be an Oracle theme. It doesn't have to theme it up. However, for me, I think I need it. I need to have that cohesiveness go between it. Yes, I think I have. I think it is Jens Freeberg. writing in it is tiny. Hang on a second. Yeah. It's Serena. Yeah. Did you take a note of the Sisters of the Sea Oracle? No, I haven't. I think you mentioned that one before, so I do need to have a look at that one. I'm just wondering if anyone else does these kind of combinations and any decks that would go well with which oracles. I suppose we could be here for a long time discussing that one, but if you want to pop that in any that you use together that has a good combo. I combine tarot and oracle in the majority of my readings, so I was interested in new ways to put them together. Donna, thank you. Hopefully this has given you some ideas, and thank you for your lovely feedback you've given on the other stuff as well. Wow, that's beautiful. She said, even I don't have a narwhal, there'll be a narwhal in the next scavenger hunt. Well, I know where to go then. I'll see if I can find a link for the oracle deck. But the muted colours on the tarot are really speaking to me. Beautiful ocean vibes. Well, oceans are my thing. The sea and that's going to be my new practice. So I'm moving away from nature, as in trees and the land, and I'm going to be spending more time. The cooling of the oceans there. In fact, I'm doing a lot of reading of books set around coastal towns and history and mythology of it at the moment. So it's really my vibe at the moment. The warm sunlight dancing on that orange. Oh my God, it's so inviting. Yeah, don't look too close. It's thank you. That's the evening light coming in there. But yeah. It was a bit like, I'm going to do a live. I'll have a quick tidy up. You should have seen it half an hour ago. Animal Orient has a narwhal. Has it? I mean, that's the other important thing, because you have to find decks that speak to you about, for me, where you are in the world. So, for example, the Sirena deck is perfect. It's nautical and it's Greek mythology, two of the things that really rock my boat. However, the Mermaid Tarot doesn't always rock my boat, mainly because it's kind of set all across the globe. And I get why, if you're going to have a tarot deck, you'd want your mermaids in Hawaii and in Antarctica and everywhere else. And I get that. But sometimes you need to have a deck that speaks to you about the area you're in. And that's one of the reasons why I like this one now. I recently paired the Sacred Web Tarot with the Sacred Forest Oracle. I like the juxtaposition of the starkness to the pretty. Yeah, that's another point, is that often you get tarot and oracle, like I said about the oracle, the Dreaming Waves and the tarot. Or I know the Forest of Enchantment's about to have a new oracle. I wonder how people feel about having a tarot deck and the oracle deck side by side. Because for me, sometimes it's lovely. However, sometimes I need that different artwork. I need that different take. I need that other input coming from a slightly different source to do the reading with. That's interesting. Good point. The Flow Tarot is a spectacular deck. It is, yeah. It does. Oh my God. I'll look out for that one too. And you're just thinking a similar way, Don. Oh, that's kind. Philippa says, I haven't put them together in this way. I have pulled an oracle at the end of a reading. I used to do that. Yeah, I used to do that. It was very much, and here's an oracle card, and here's another oracle card. In fact, quite a lot of people I know pull the oracle cards before the tarot. I know that, and that perhaps would be interesting as well, take on it there. I very used to doing the tarot first, because I like the message, and then to infill the rest of it. But it'd be interesting perhaps to try it the other way. The Tempest Tarot is a new mass mark. I'm going to have to Google it. Let me get a pen and write all of these down. Excuse me a moment. Get me a piece of paper. That sounds exciting. The Tempest Tarot. Good old Amazon boxes. Yeah, Tempest Tarot. And I know Maru to put one in earlier, and I'll have a look at that one as well. That deck sounds so familiar to me. I can't put my finger on where I know it from. And Donna says, I recently picked up a new copy of the Vintage Wisdom Oracle after wanting it for a while. And I pair it with the Mooka. That's how gorgeous. I like that. That sounds brilliant. The Orions is kind of darker animal themed deck, yeah. I'm not too familiar with that one. Debbie says it's a beautiful animal deck with a dark background. Oh, it's sounding familiar now. The Tempest Tarot is cool looking. Oh, well, that's me now. I'm going to be looking at that this evening, aren't I? And you won it on a giveaway. Oh, that's nice, isn't it? Good old Chris. I love a giveaway. Congratulations. So, thank you for indulging me with this one. As I said, I'm only on here to do 45 minutes or so because I wanted to just do the extra bit on top of what we did last week. Otherwise, I probably wouldn't get around to doing it because the next few Fridays I'm rather busy doing bits and pieces and Morris dancing on the nice, hopefully the nice weather that's going to be happening now that we seem to have got our summer back. So I thought I would jump on now and do it before I forgot about it and everything there. But please, as ever, comment and let me know if you do this. Take some photos, shove it on my Longman Tarot Instagram or Facebook, or I don't think you can attach it to this, but put comments down if it's something you like. I'd love to know how people get on with this one. And hopefully during the course of the summer, I'm going to be thinking about other 4-card spreads or perhaps 5-card spreads. And be doing a few more videos because I think people quite like these, and I've had quite a lot of nice response to these ones there. And again, it's just something a bit different, and rather than either pulling a 1-card, 2-card, or going for a full 10-card spread. So perhaps this might become a bit more of a regular thing. I don't know. Right. Oh, it's nice to see you here, Simon. Thank you for dropping by. I'm just going to see what other people said. Donna says it was such a nice price to see you live so soon after watching the replay. Yeah, well, here I am. There we go. And she said, I need to see this deck. It sounds wonderful. Yeah, no, I'm going to go search for it now as well. You're very welcome, Pamela. Thank you to everybody. Got a few rows done on my summer. Sure, gorgeous. Do you know what? It's rather nice doing some knitting this time of year. Yeah, you feel like I'm going to rush it, get ready for it for the winter, isn't it? Yeah. It's been very interesting. Hi, Bex. Good to see you here. Great surprise reading. Thanks. Nice to see you. I hope you're doing well. Philippa, thank you. It's been interesting. Oh, thank you, everyone. Lovely comments. Thank you. It's really kind of you. So, the next few weeks going to be busy. I am going to be doing a reading next Saturday, I hope, with Ali and Gerald. But after that, I don't quite know what's happening. Lots of things going on. So I will be jumping on, trying to do some more lives as and when I get the time to do it. But once again, I really appreciate everyone's support. Sorry, I've got such an itchy nose. I'll tell you what it is. I've been making a new hat for my Morris dancing. I don't think you can see them like that. There's loads of feathers, and I've been literally sort of plucking the bits of them, and I think they just got in the air, and it's making my nose super itchy. Anyway, that's my excuse. I haven't been doing anything else. Don't worry about that. So I'm going to say goodbye to everybody. Thanks once again for stopping by, and take care and have a great weekend. So bye then.